ethical and political advances are not like scientific advances or technological advances. Normally, scientific and technological advances are irreversible. That's to say, whatever happens in the world's universities are not going to stop teaching chemistry and start teaching alchemy. They're not going to stop teaching astronomy and start teaching astrology. We're not going to lose the wheel. There have been periods in history when particular civilizations have lost particular technologies or types of knowledge. There's what's often called the Dark Ages in Europe, although they weren't as dark as people often say. But on the whole, human knowledge and human technology throughout many parts of the world, has been continuously expanding, particularly over the last few centuries. But ethical and political advance isn't like that. What's gained can be, and it often is, very quickly lost. Even wealth, people say to me, well, but look at wealth. Wealth is expanding throughout the world. The world's getting richer. Well, maybe, but wealth can be lost in large wars. That happened twice in the great world wars of the last century, of the 20th century. And at the moment, supposing you were Greek, supposing you were living in Greece, over the last 5 or 6 years, there's been an enormous loss of wealth in that small country. What economists call the gross domestic product has shrunk by about 25%. There have been enormous levels of unemployment, higher than those of the Great Depression in America. For young people, more than half. And whatever happens now, and as we speak now, in early July of 2015, it's not clear what's going to happen, whether Greece will remain in the European currency or, more likely, in my opinion, will leave. Whatever happens, it will be many years before they regain the wealth they had before. So what is gained is often lost. And I want to take a different example. In the Iraq of Saddam Hussein, who was a great tyrant. He did many terrible things, such as attack the Marsh Arabs, slaughter them, attack the Kurds, use poison gas. He was a great tyrant. But in Saddam Hussein's Iraq, women were more emancipated than they are now. About a third or maybe more of Iraq is now controlled by ISIL, in which women are enslaved, bought and sold or raped. They're much worse off than they were in Saddam's tyranny. So what can be gained can also be lost in civilization. So in civilization there is gain and there are genuine improvements, genuine advances at particular times, but they're easily lost. Whereas the modern myth is that the gains are kind of be accumulated. The modern myth is something like this. I think practically everybody believes it. In fact, it's so deeply rooted they can't even think in any other way. Although most people thought in a very different way until about 250 years ago. They think that humanity, they would say, advances 6 inches. Then it falls back 4 inches. Then it advances another 5 inches. So that over time it's gradually advancing inch by inch. It's not like that. When Nazism came to Europe, it didn't go back 4 inches. It went back to minus 100 or minus 1,000. And many of the communities that the Nazis attacked were destroyed completely and forever. So what is gained is real, but is normally quite quickly lost. And that's different from what happens in science, because in science, when knowledge grows, usually what happens is it's not suddenly lost or even regularly lost in that way. It continues to grow over time. So I've put this in one of my books. I've said that the human animal is unique among the animals we know, in that it has a capacity to cumulatively grow its knowledge, but at the same time it has a chronic incapacity to learn from its own experience.